Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Divyanka and I'm a doctor of pharmacy here in the US. On this channel, I strive to provide you guys with resources to build your ideal professional life. Today, I feel like we are talking about, again, another very much so awaited topic. We are going to discuss how to transition from a career in retail pharmacy to one in the pharmaceutical industry. Now, I'm sure most of you know this by now, but like I mentioned, I'm a PharmD and I do work in the pharmaceutical industry, currently as a senior medical writing scientist. And a lot of you over the last 2 years have reached out and asked how to transition as a pharmacist, not only from any other career into industry, but specifically from a career in retail into industry. I have been an advocate for both myself and others for a career in industry as a pharmacist since about my 3rd to 4th year of pharmacy school. And so I've done a lot of research, a lot of homework, a lot of everything about this because it was my goal. And I really do hope that what I have to offer in terms of knowledge and hopefully even my story can help some of you make that transition if that's what you're looking for. So without any further ado, let's just get into the things that you need to be doing. Number 1 is to realize your potential. Now, of course, that's not something you're actively going to be doing, but I set this as number 1 because I feel like this mindset shift is literally the most important foundation, and without it, you're not really going to succeed. So many of you have either reached out to make this transition into industry through one of the FocusRx either resume or cover letter reviews, or simply just emailing me. As you guys may know, you guys can get your resumes, CVs, cover letters personally reviewed by me, and a lot of you have purchased those packages and are looking to make that transition into industry. And the first thing that I see is that most of you aren't actually realizing your potential. Don't undersell yourself. First of all, you have a PharmD. If you are a pharmacist with a PharmD, you have a doctorate degree and an incredible background in science. That in and of itself holds so much weight, and I feel like a lot of you just forget that you have that degree and have that designation. It really doesn't matter where you've worked or where you went to school if you have a PharmD. That in and of itself comes not only with a prestige, but again, with the knowledge that is required to enter a multitude of job roles. So realize that. Don't forget that you have that just because of the role that you are in, and you need to act confidently about having a PharmD. A lot of people feel like it's not enough, ask what more you can do in terms of degree, and honestly, the answer is nothing. That is the highest degree, and right now, especially in industry, it is really being seen as an equivalent to a PhD and MD. If you search up job applications, in the job descriptions, you will see that a higher degree is preferred, and MD, PhD, and PharmD is what's listed. So don't lose sight of that. Next, in terms of your potential, don't undersell your experience. It doesn't matter what experience you have, whether that's retail or clinic work, or honestly anything else. You still have a certain amount of years of experience behind you. And even though you're feeling like you have to start over to go into industry, that's not the case. Those years of experience count for so much, but they won't unless you act like it. So again, so many times in either conversations or through the resume reviews that I conduct for you guys, I do see that even though you guys have 7-10 years of experience, you act like you have no experience. And honestly, you're not giving yourself the value that you have. There are so many skills you can pull over to tell your story and to tell a company why you would be a good fit in a role at their company, regardless again of what experience you have. So realize those two things. Realize your degree. Realize that your experience, no matter what it is, counts for a lot. And make sure that that's where you're coming from in terms of mindset. Now, this is really going to matter because of confidence. Like I kind of touched upon, if you don't believe that your PharmD and your experience holds value, you're not going to act like it on your resume, in your cover letter, or in your interviews. And that right then and there honestly negates any shot you have at a role. So please don't do that. Realize your value, realize the potential, and realize the skills you do bring over. Enough said about that, on to the next one. The next thing you really want to do is redo your resume. Now, this is important for so many reasons. You should do this anytime you're applying to any new role, especially if it's in a different industry. And of course, if you're switching from retail to the pharmaceutical industry, those are two completely different worlds. So you do have to take a fresh look at your resume. Do not repurpose any other resume you've used. Of course, it's going to be generally the same type of information, but how you present it, what you say, what you highlight, the order that you put your information in is really going to differ. So I recommend either asking a friend, a colleague, someone in your network who has experience in industry to look at your resume and help you redo it. Or like I mentioned, through the FocusRx services, I do personalized resume reviews. And before I make any changes and before I take a look at your resume, when you send it over, I do ask you what your intentions are, what you're looking to do. And so again, you would tell me that you're looking to switch from retail to industry, and I gear the resume towards industry. So if that's the route you guys want to take, the link is in the description bar below as to how you can get that service, and we can chat offline. But whether it's me or somebody else, have someone who knows about industry look at your resume and help you redo it, because that is the only way you're going to get an interview. And if you're not getting interviews, it is because of your resume. So that is something that needs to be fixed up. That is the first thing. You're not going to go to any next step. You can't apply, do anything without that ideal resume. So it is absolutely imperative that, again, you don't just edit your resume, you actually completely redo it. These skills that you need to highlight on a resume that's geared towards industry are just very, very different. And you can probably imagine why. For retail, you have customers. You are actually practicing pharmacy. And that's just not the case in any role in the pharmaceutical industry. So the skills that are sought out are just different. It doesn't mean that you don't have them, but again, the way you present things, the way you write things will be different. All right, the next thing you need to do is you need to network. And if you don't like to network, you need to change your mind towards networking. I get it, networking is hard, it can be awkward, it can be weird, it can be uncomfortable. But I'm so sorry to say that that's just something you have to learn how to do, how to be good at, how to infuse it, honestly, on a daily basis, if you're looking to be in industry. I have heard this word since probably my second or third year of school, and I got to a point where I was like, I'm tired of it. I don't want to hear that the answer to everything is networking, but it just works like that. It doesn't just work like that in the pharmaceutical industry, it works like that in life. You try something out because a friend recommends it to you. You're going to hire someone because someone you trust recommends them. You're going to interview someone because your employee says that they trust this person. That's just how it works. It's not about being unfair. It's just about finding opportunities that aren't already listed. Networking works because many times a company, a team, a department doesn't even know that they're looking for somebody to fill a role. Sometimes, of course, there's a vacant role and they will post it online, but a lot of other times there's a need for work, but everyone's busy and there's no time to actually interview someone or put up a job posting or do any of that. And if your employee comes to you as a manager and is like, hey, I don't know if we're hiring, but look, I have this person interested in this, like was wondering if at any point if we're hiring, like if you could think of them, then that just opens up a dialogue that was never there. And again, it's just creating opportunities that may not even exist. So just look at it like that. Look at it like you're creating an opportunity for yourself. And of course, you're still going to be doing the normal job application process stuff. But if networking can help you, then why would you not use it? You really have to stop thinking about networking as a transaction. It is not. Think about it like you're meeting actual people with dreams and desires and with wants to grow their group, just as you would in any type of social setting. If you're at a party and your friend brings someone you don't know, you're not just going to not say anything. You're going to meet them, you're going to ask them about them, you're going to get to know them. Do the same exact thing in not only networking events and professional events, but in general, because it opens up so many doors. And I can speak from experience. Like, this This is something I had to get good at over time, but when I realized the potential, it completely changed my mind. I would be at events, whether it was social events or networking events, and one thing would lead to another. I'm an artist on the side. I do photography. I'm a dancer, and I would literally find clients at professional work events. And sometimes I would find people who are in biotech at my dance events or things like that. Like, the world is just so small, and you're never gonna know who can help you where and what opportunities actually exist unless you make it a habit to network, honestly, everywhere. So again, try to realize the potential, push yourself the first few, multiple times until you start getting something from it. The second you have those fruitful conversations that do actually either lead you to an opportunity or somehow give you something in return, you will automatically feel like, oh my God, this is such a big opportunity. I need to do this more. And then it will start coming naturally. So until that point, really push yourself. Again, don't think about it like networking. Don't think about it like a transaction. Just be open, be conversational, be social with anyone and everyone. And these things will naturally come up. You don't have to try hard for someone to be like, oh, what do you do? And then for you to be like, oh, like I'm, a retail pharmacist, but I'm looking to transition into this. It's a very natural conversation, but it will only happen if you are open to it and if you allow it to happen. So I could literally blabber on about this forever. I hope you got my point. Networking is essential and important, not only in the pharmaceutical industry, but everywhere. And when you're looking to make this job transition, it is really going to help you. So just make it a habit, change that mindset, and really push yourself. All right, next, you need to do your research and become an expert in the topics within the pharmaceutical industry. Now, I don't mean an absolute expert on everything, but you cannot be applying to jobs within the pharmaceutical industry without knowing how the industry works, without knowing the clinical development process, without knowing what each role in and of itself means, without knowing what each department does, etc. Do your homework. Do your research, be able to speak to these things. It doesn't matter if you don't have the experience, but if you've also not done your homework and don't know what you're getting into, don't know anything about the industry you want to go into, it's not going to be a good look and you're not going to get very far within the interview process. That goes for, again, any job. You need to know what you're talking about. So in this case, you're going to have to do a lot of homework. Now, on this channel, I have done many videos talking about the different departments within the pharmaceutical industry, other such topics about the pharmaceutical industry. So if you guys are wondering where to start, maybe that's a good place. Of course, do your own research, do a simple Google search, and a lot of stuff will come up, but really take the time to learn, do your research, be able to talk to it, and of course, seem confident. Also, another great way to increase your knowledge about the industry is to talk to professionals who already work in the industry. And the more conversations you have, the more you will learn. You will pick up on random things. Even if you just ask them about what they do in their daily role, in their daily job, you will start to get a really good idea of what things are. So on top of your own research, again, going with the networking, reach out to people who work in the industry, in the departments, in the roles that you are targeting to really better understand what it is. And that's a really, really good way to pick up on knowledge that you can't honestly get anywhere online. Next, you need to improve your interview skills. And it kind of goes along with redoing your resume. Interviews in the pharmaceutical industry are probably going to be very, very different than any other retail interview that you've done or even any other clinical interview. The things that hiring managers and interviewers look for are just different. You're going to notice that there's actually not as many technical questions as there usually are in a clinical or retail interview. Things like that. It's a very, very different environment. So you want to prepare for that and improve your interview skills to really target that type of interview. Now, again, speaking to those in industry will really help you prepare for this, and then going back and looking at your skills, searching online, learning how to do this is going to be helpful. I do have videos on this as well, and I actually also do one-on-one mock interviews. So if you guys are interested in doing that, again, go to the FocusRx website, link in the description bar below. And basically in my mock interviews, again, I ask you what kind of role you're targeting. And then once scheduled in the mock interview, I do ask you questions that are normally asked within the pharmaceutical industry, and I will target them to what you're looking to apply within. With my mock interview packages, I also have time within our scheduled mock interview time to give you direct feedback right after the actual mock interview occurs. So right then and there, I will share live feedback with you in terms of how you performed, where to improve, what not to say, etc. I also provide that feedback in a written manner, so you have that to look back to anytime you're kind of interview prepping. But again, FocusRx is just one resource, but you really want to target a lot of time to improving your interview skills, preparing for industry interviews specifically, and knowing that it's very different from anything you've done in the past. The next thing you want to do is gain technical skills outside of pharmacy. A lot of you, again, reach out and ask what are the things you can do to really help your application stand out while you're making this job transition. And the easiest and best way to do this is to honestly add experiences, certifications, knowledge, research, etc. that is not based in pharmacy, because most likely you have gone to pharmacy school, so you have that foundational scientific knowledge, and you've worked in a pharmacy, so you have enough pharmacy background. And the industry really looks for individuals that not only have a strong scientific background, but also have other skills. And so if you can show that you have well-rounded technical skills, you will stand out. So this can literally be anything. And the example that I give most often is that I do talk about FocusRx, that I do YouTube videos, that I have created a website, things like that in my interviews. And again, that has nothing to do with the job role that I'm ever applying for. It has nothing to do with pharmacy or the medical world in general, outside of course, the content that I'm making. But I also have a dance YouTube channel and a blog, and I talk about all of that. And that's not to prove myself in the scientific world at all. It's to show that I can do things outside of pharmacy work. And again, that is really important. So it really doesn't have to be anything that you've probably thought of. It can be really anything. It's how you sell yourself, but gaining those outside technical skills shows that you can go out of your way to learn things that might not just be given to you, things that don't just come up every day. And that shows that you can really problem solve well. You can find solutions on your own. You're proactive, all these different things. So try to do more things outside of pharmacy and be able to speak to that and add that to your resume. All right, next, you want to improve your soft skills. Now, I just talked about technical skills, and of course, technical skills are very important. But what goes so incredibly far in the industry are soft skills. Now, soft skills can be any and a lot of things. You need to be able to show that you have a good personality, a well-rounded personality, and that you are actually someone would want to work with. In industry interviews, it is not your job to only show your technical scientific aptitude. You have to be personable. You have to show that people would want to work with you. You have to show that you're a really good communicator. You need to show that you are good at project management, people management. You can actually get work done. You are efficient. You have a life outside of work, and you know how to balance it all. All of that needs to get pulled into this. And so you really need to hone in on your soft skills and work on things like communication, like project management, like time management, etc. You cannot overlook soft skills at all, and they are incredibly important because honestly, when you're working in the industry, you can find a lot of people that have the correct aptitude in terms of technical skills to do the job, but if they're a problematic human being, no one's going to want to work with them, and the work won't happen. It'll create more issues, and the company won't want to hire that person. So you really need to convince people in an interview that you are the correct person based on your soft skills as well. The main thing you can really work on is your communication, making sure that you not only come across professionally, but that you can effectively communicate. And if they see that in an interview, they will know that you can actually do that while working, in meetings, with colleagues, with management, etc. These are the things that people pick up on. So you really, really need to work on them. The next thing you need to do is you need to make sure that you are keeping your options open in terms of the types of job roles that you're applying to. Now, this is where also your research and knowledge comes in. When you are making the transition from retail to industry, you need to understand that there's not only one job type, job role, company type that you can be working at and applying to. And moreover, when you keep those options open, you will probably find more opportunities and will have a higher chance of actually landing something. So be open to contract positions at CROs, also known as contract research organizations. If you guys don't know what that is, I have a video on that, so be sure to check that out. Positions at other agencies, part-time positions, etc. Be open to all of these options because your mind should really be set on somehow getting your foot in the door. And any and all of those options are very, very viable options. Especially with part-time. If you guys work in retail, if you can somehow pick up a contract or part-time job within an agency or at a pharmaceutical company, you can actually do that alongside your day job at the pharmacy, gain some experience, do that for 6 months to a year, and then utilize all of that to apply to a full-time role, and you'll probably have way better luck that way. So again, there's many options, many ways to go about it. Again, contract positions, I know it hurts. You're going from a full-time salaried benefits position to a contract position, but it's still a really good way to enter the industry if that's your goal. So again, don't just blindside yourself to wanting a full-time job within the industry in a certain department. Know your options, be open to other opportunities because that usually is a better way of getting in, or rather easier, or maybe there's more opportunities. Whatever it is, it might work out better for you. Not only did I have a couple internships during my schooling years, but my first full-time role was also at a CRO, and I actually learned a lot there. I gained experience that I probably wouldn't have been able to gain anywhere else, and so I don't regret that decision at all. It was probably the best boost I could have done for myself and for my career. And again, that was an option I had to look into that was separate from something other people might do or think of. So again, keep your mind open, keep your options open, apply to everything and anything, know the differences, do your research, all of that. Next, you should expect a pay cut. Now, this isn't always going to be the case. It's really dependent on what role you get, what experience you have, how you sell yourself, what value you bring to the table, what types of roles you're applying to. There's so many variables, but generally, you will probably incur a pay cut only because you don't have any industry experience. Now, I would rather you guys expect that and maybe it not happen than to not expect that and then be surprised and be hurt by a low offer, but just know that this might be the case. Now, also know that this can increase every single year as you get into different roles very, very quickly within the industry, a lot faster than it does in retail. So the potential there is a lot more. And so that pay cut is going to be worth it because once you've got your feet wet, once you have experience, that will probably go away very fast. But again, at the beginning, do expect that. My next and last tip is to know that you cannot give up. It is not an option. If you have a goal to get a job within the pharmaceutical industry, you are up for a challenge. It is going to be hard. I have been there, done that, and no matter what internship I was applying for or what job I was applying for, it truly never got easier, but you cannot give up. I wanted to so many times. I was job searching both times within this pandemic, and it can be really hard. I totally get it, especially if you are trying to get your foot in the door. It is not easy at all. But you have to know that it's going to be worth it. And if you want to do this for yourself, if you want to make this transition, you just have to be patient. It's how it works. You have no control over what opportunities are out there, what is going to land in your hands, what you're actually a good fit for, all of that. All you can do is keep trying and keep applying and keep interviewing, and you can't get tired of that, because if you stop doing that, you're not going to end up with anything. So you have to know going in, it's not going to be easy. It's going to be very, very hard, and giving up is not an option if that's actually what you want. If you feel tired or exhausted or any of that, like, trust me, I have been there. It does suck, but it will be so worth it. So stick with it. Trust in your skills. Trust in yourself. Do this for yourself, for better opportunities for yourself, for career growth for yourself, and just put your head down and put as much time as it takes. It'll be so, so worth it. Those are 10 things you really need to not only keep in mind, but act on and do to make a successful transition from a career in retail pharmacy to one in the pharmaceutical industry. As always, I do hope these tips were helpful for you guys. If you guys have any follow-up questions, please feel free to reach out via email or leave them in the comment section below. I respond to all of you guys all the time. I just want to help you guys. I have been there, done that. I am in a position where I really have worked for the past many years, and I want to help you guys to get here if that's where you want to go. I will be doing a lot more videos, so if you guys have any targeted questions, any specific issues you land across, any specific things that you want help with, please feel free to let me know. I've done this many times where you guys ask a question and I think it'd be beneficial for a lot of people, and I end up making a video to it, and again, to help you, to help others. So if you're wondering it, others are probably as well. I would love to help you guys out in this transition. And as you can tell, I'm pretty passionate about a career in the pharmaceutical industry. So I hope that all of this is super helpful. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys thought this video was helpful at all, please do give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already for more helpful content to help build your ideal career. That is it for me today, and you guys will of course see me in the next video.